Yep, it's true. It's happening. It's happening. Ooh, you're gonna call right now. Hi, everybody. Is anybody even there? I'm saying hi, everybody. Right now. Hello, hello, hello. It is Tuesday, July 19th, and there is someone's here, but I don't know who you are. Do I know who you are? Do I know who you are? Is it me? It could just be me. It could be because I'm on 3 different. Let's see here. I don't know. Well, Claudia. Where's my hat? Where's my hat? I wore it today again. Oh, that's it's downstairs. It's on my hat rack. I got complimented. They're like, "What does that mean? What is that hat all about?" I go, if you had a cool friend like I have a cool friend, they might even put 1111 with Jenna and your name on the hat. Did I give you a standing ovation on that one? Hello, William D. How are you, sir? That's right. It is I was going to say it's Wednesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and for so long it was Dr. Andrew Rader. Dr. Julie. Dr. Andrew Rader is in Portugal. Hopefully staying cool, because I think, even though it's hot here, it was 87 tonight, I think I'm in one of the coolest places in the country. Oh, no. You did exactly 11:11. Jenna. That's all. The rest of it, that's what they learn that. They get turned on to the show and then they learn about that. How's Colorado, Julie Luce? Where's Mama Grace? Where is she? No, but it's a really cool hat. I was rocking around, So we went out to dinner. Mama Grace, my friend Stacy, and I went to Tosi's, where I've been going since I was in the womb. Because my parents used to go to Tosi's a lot. Oh, right. Again, let's practice. Likes, hearts, what is it? Likes, hearts, cares, wows. Share the show. The more likes and loves, bing, 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 bing. Yeah. Julie Luce, like, heart, care, wow, funny. That's part of my job now. This is my job. 11:11 with Jenna it's super fun, but it's my work. And yes, likes and loves. William D's watching. Tonight's going to be a really cool show, and it's going to be one of those shows that you're going to want to share. You're going to want to watch. And I'll give you that info right now, even though the 3 of you really know it well. I'm going to, because I added a little new blast to it. So yes, tomorrow morning I will go for a walk. Tomorrow night, cocktails, community and cocktails. Thursday morning, Michael Keel. Thursday night, I don't know yet. Could be anything. It could be. But I'm wondering why Mama Grace is not here yet. I have a feeling maybe she's about to show up. Thursday morning, Michael Keel. Thursday night. Friday morning, Mondo, memories with Mondo. And keeping that energy flowing, and the prayers and the vibes and the love and the light to his healing. And do you like? They're kind of groovy, right? They're a little large. I like the color, though. They're actually, you don't see it. There's this blue vibe that's happening. And yeah, go William. Julie Luce, love, like. I've been watching, hey Carl, I've been watching other lives, and everyone asks to get the algorithm going to please love, like, share, care, all that stuff. Friday night, display and share. Saturday morning, Jeff Metzger. Saturday night, one more Saturday night with Gary Lambert. Sunday with AJ. Sunday night, Poetry Glam. Monday morning, we do movement. Monday night, we meditate. Tuesday mornings, sometimes Paul Kemp! What? We're getting a band together. We have almost a full band right here, right now. Paul, come back. Hang out on the show. I miss you. Machiko, Shimada, Majide. What's going on, kids? And then Tuesday night, things happen. Like right now, ladies and gentlemen, my friend, amazing musician, professor from Stanford, as in Stanford, California. Jon Krosnick. Hey! Hey, Paula, what's happening? Hello there, Jon.
Hi, Jenna.
I love the blue wall. I really do. Is it as blue as it looks?
It is exactly as blue as it looks. This camera is, for some reason, being very faithful tonight.
Do you know Paul Kemp?
I do not know Paul Kemp, but Paul Kemp is here, huh?
Paul Kemp is incredible. Paul Kemp is a pianist who lives up in Lake County. Have you played up at the Tall Man?
We were at the Tallman 2 months ago.
Then you've met Paul, because Paul's a sound man and pianist extraordinaire.
There we go. All right.
Did you play? Were you Conversations?
We did a concert with Paul McCandless there.
Blue Wing Sound Guy is how he'd like to be recognized as. So the Blue Wing Sound Guy that did your sound, your impeccable sound,
Yeah.
is also beep pianist.
Ah, had no idea. Good to know. Well, he's great. We love that.
Really good. In fact, we first saw you play in Lakeport. I first saw you perform in Lakeport.
Yeah.
And it was because of Paul that I was there.
Ah.
And then it was because of Paul that I performed there the next year with the symphony.
Wow. How was that?
I played with the symphony in Lakeport. It was a dream come true.
Yeah.
Because of that evening with Paul, seeing your band Charged Particles.
Yeah. It's beautiful theater.
Isn't it wonderful? In Lakeport. Sharing, thank you, William D. Charged Particle. He spelled particles wrong. But you can take that off, Paul. You can delete that. I'll delete it right now. So you are in, delete comment. You are in Ann Arbor, Michigan right now. We're so close, like 2.5 hours away. Hello. And you're staying with someone that I know.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm staying with Paul Vornhagen, who's a wonderful saxophonist, flutist, very multi-talented, plays lots of instruments.
Now that's a question. Is it flutist or flautist?
You're probably right. I think it's probably flautist.
I don't know, but you're a professor of political, how do I say it?
Political psychology, which gives me no qualifications to pronounce flute or flout at all.
I don't know. Does anyone know if it's flutist or flautist? Or is it both?
It could be both. It depends on what country you're in.
Can it be flute player?
Absolutely. I would endorse that.
And how do you identify yourself as a musician?
Well, when I was little, I was a percussionist, and now I'm a drummer.
Are you a drummer that's a percussionist or a percussionist that's a drummer?
Well, the percussion part of my world was, 15 years of being a classical musician, playing with orchestras and
like,
yeah,
kind of thing?
Snare drum, timpani, cymbals, bass drum, xylophone, all of that stuff. And at a peak of my life in high school, when I played with the Philadelphia Orchestra, and then I fell in love with jazz and have been doing jazz ever since.
So you're the drummer that I want to have on my gig when I play with the symphony orchestra again, because you can swing.
If I can remember, yeah.
Very few symphony orchestra drummers can swing.
Yeah. No, that's true. That the orchestras in general, I find it a challenge. That we Charged Particles, my California-based band, was just down in Los Angeles, working with the Glendale Symphony, and we were doing wonderful stuff, and they actually did a great job. We were pleasantly surprised by how readily they took to the music, and the folks who prepared them are jazz experts, but still classical folks are used to sort of sitting straight up and playing straight up. And these folks knew how to swing, which was great.
So you played with Charged Particles, performed with the symphony orchestra. Were they arrangements that you as a band created?
It's a mixture of some different kinds of arrangements. So my favorites were some that actually were created for Paul McCandless in Oregon. And so we did a few of those pieces. And then we did some pieces that we had commissioned by a wonderful arranger, a guy at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, Jerry DePewitt, who wrote some arrangements for us. And then we did some stuff that was really from the pen of Randy Waldman. I don't know if you would remember that name, but he was Barbra Streisand's music director for a long time. He's touring with George Benson now. He's a very, very established, successful LA guy. And he did some really wonderful jazz stuff that works well with orchestra. So we played some of that too.
How fun! Were there any vocalists on this particular? Was Paul the main vocalist?
There was no vocal. Yes, there was no vocalist involved. We needed you. We definitely needed you.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Hello, hello, symphony orchestras around the country, Charged Particles, and Jenna Mammina.
Yeah, it's a tough market.
Guy from the Blue Wing.
Yeah, the orchestra world is tough to get into. That there are so many orchestras out there, and they're struggling to try to keep alive and make their patrons happy. And I think, doing the poppier, jazzier things that we have to offer feel like, an exception to what they normally want to do.
Oh, yes, because yes. That's an interesting conversation to have. So political psychology. How did that happen?
Well, as an undergrad, I fell in love with psychology. I thought I was going to be a physician like my dad. And when I went to college and took a psychology course, I fell in love with psychology because what I discovered that none of us knew back then in high school was that you could use scientific and mathematical methods to study the human mind and behavior. And I just loved that idea that you could learn for real instead of just sitting in your armchair and speculating. And so once I went down that path, I just happened to be taking courses with professors who were talking about psychology politics. And so I fell in love with that, and that's been my career ever since.
And you taught in Ohio first.
I taught at Ohio State for 18 years before I went to Stanford 20 years ago.
How can you say you taught at Ohio State and be in Ann Arbor at the same time? How does that even, do they let you in? Do they go, well, because he's a drummer guy, we should let him in?
I don't advertise too much the crossover, but the hardest moment was, when I was in grad school in Ann Arbor and I got this invitation to go do a job interview in Columbus, I had the impression that Columbus was such a teeny tiny little town that they had one restaurant, one McDonald's, and that it was owned by the Michigan football coach. Like somehow I had created this image. I don't know who told me this, but it turns out at the time, Columbus was 1.5 million people. It was a very significant city. It's still growing and has lots of arts going and lots of other things, including the jazz festival we're going to go play at this weekend. But when we first went there, my wife, Kathy, and I joined the faculty. It was a little awkward to be working for the rival, but very quickly we realized who was paying our salary, so we switched to it.
So you became Ohio State Buckeyes?
Well, we knew how we should behave.
And now you're in California. You live in the South Bay.
Yes, we live right by Stanford in Portola Valley.
Oh, that's nice. And then does she tour with you?
Kathy will occasionally come to gigs, but she's a busy professor too. And so she's not typically available to come on the road. I will mention there are some people in one of my bands who are accompanied by spouses all the time, and I'm a little jealous, but I understand.
And what does she profess?
She's in public health.
Well, here's to Kathy.
That is our walk.
Tell her she got a standing ovation tonight.
Okay, I'll convey that. Our daughter and our future son-in-law are both in public health as well, so I'm way outnumbered.
And are they out in California?
They are. They are.
So what did you have for lunch today?
You know what? I had a wonderful salad. Paul Vornhagen really takes great care of me, and so he is very quick to show up in the kitchen and say, "What would you like?" And so he's a salad maker.
Like a master salad maker makes his own dressing and everything.
Well, that goes a little farther.
Does he have a garden?
He does not, but he mowed the lawn today. That's close.
That's big. Please tell him I said hello. It's been quite a few years, and it took me a minute to know who he was, but then I knew exactly who he was once I grokked what was happening. So you're in Ann Arbor right now because you played at the Michigan Jazz Festival, which I have never performed at before.
It's yeah, it's an amazing thing. It's a one-day festival. It's been happening for a long time at Schoolcraft College, and it's really quite a thing to see because they kind of take over the buildings. They've got outdoor tents, and then they like tons of big theaters within a single building, and the crowd is kind of moving between all of these theaters, and it's just continuous music, but there's always 3 or 4 different stages going at the same time. And so it's really energizing. If you wonder, is anybody who likes jazz? There's a huge crowd of folks who come out for this kind of thing. And there's a guy named Craig Strain who is very visible on the Detroit scene, who's kind of personally responsible for all the success this year and did a great job of putting the program together and making it work.
Was Linda Yon there?
Linda Yon, I did not see, but I would be surprised if she wasn't, because she's such a major figure on this scene. Molly Motherwell, who is the new program director, not new, but she's the current program director at WEMU. And she was very visible. She introduced us before our show. And
was Jessica Webster Sendra there? Do you know Jessica?
Who is Jessica Webster?
Jessica Webster Sendra. Jessica is a DJ on EMU and a lover. She worked at School Kids for many, many years, so you probably ran across her at some point.
Yeah, the Lunar Octet's the first record is on School Kids, and Steve Bergman, who created School Kids Records, is a good friend and a passionate supporter of what we do. We love him. His birthday just was yesterday.
Happy birthday. So you do a lot of different. So okay. So I skipped over a percussionist who's a drummer or a drummer who's a percussionist?
No, I'm a drummer. Period. Percussion is used to be me.
You play a full kit.
I do. It's kind of big.
Do you ever like put on Van Halen or anything like that and totally rock out?
Not lately, but when I was in high school and college, there were bands would say, "Play with us," and that's the kind of stuff we would play.
But you don't just put it on and just go for it at home. Do you have is it loud at your house? Like, do you have a soundproof room where Kathy doesn't have to hear it bang, 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 bang?
Thank you for bringing this up. We work very hard to soundproof the music room, and she tells me that it's not working. Luckily we sound good, so it's not too torturous for her. But rehearsals go late sometimes, and let's put it this way: I wish the soundproofing were better.
I recently was with a band, and they all play. The drummer plays on an electric pad. How do I say it? Electric drum kit.
Yeah.
And everyone wears headphones. Everyone. So then you walk in there, and they're just rocking out, and you're going. And then you put on the headphones, and wow, it's something. But
yeah, everybody sounds better on electronic drums than they sound on real drums, because every time you hit it, it's got that perfect sound quality to it.
Yeah. Do you have an electric kit?
I do not. The times, I think if I lived in an apartment somewhere near people, I would have to have it. And luckily where we live, houses are far enough apart that the neighbors are not complaining about the music we make. And my one experience with electronic drums was when I lived in Columbus, Ohio. I was, 2 minutes from the Columbus percussion shop, where I would go buy stuff every so often. My daughter was tiny at the time, and she would come with me there. And as soon as we went in the door, she's zipping over to the electronic drums, putting on the headphones and playing. And, it is pretty rewarding to do it. So, she never ended up with her own electronic kit, but she certainly had plenty of practice.
Does she still play?
She's a cellist, actually.
Ooh, I love cellists.
Yeah, she embraced the cello in high school.
I love the cello, and I usually love cellists. They're a certain kind of being in my mind.
Yeah.
So you're in Michigan right now, but you're going to Ohio this weekend.
Yep, Columbus Jazz and Rib Festival.
Jazz and Rib Festival. And how many rib like rib like stands will there be?
When I last checked in, I think there were 250,000 of them. It was
What?
just, everywhere you go, there were just,
250,000 what?
well, I'm kidding, but it's like everywhere you went, there were more and more and more and more of these stands. It was kind of never ending.
Are they
Just
are they competing for the best of?
absolutely.
Smokiest, the best rub, the best.
And the stands or whatever you want to call them, they're huge. They go up 25 feet in the air, and they've got tremendous artwork in front of them. It's really a big deal.
Hmm. And do you walk away smelling like barbecue?
They are spread out enough. I'm sure the people who work there smell like barbecue, but the people who come by and buy the food,
There
luckily.
isn't a stage near you where it's just billowing out smoke or anything like that.
Yeah, no, luckily there are three very large stages that are quite separated from the food with big grassy areas in front. And Charged Particles is appearing on the main stage on Saturday, and the Lunar Octet is appearing on the second stage on Sunday. And so, yeah, we will not have any smoke in it.
So cool. So both of your bands are playing this weekend.
Yep, yeah, it's a treat.
Smart booking. And are you all staying at the same hotel?
The Lunar Octet guys based here in Ann Arbor have decided they don't need to stay overnight. So they're all driving down on Sunday morning, play the gig, and then drive home after the gig.
And who is in the Lunar Octet?
Well, first of all, we have a math problem because there are 9 of us, and
Oh, okay, hold on. I like computers and math, not my jam, but I'll listen.
so the horn section, 3 horns out front. Brandon Cooper plays trumpet. Paul Vornhagen plays tenor saxophone and flute and ocarina and alto clarinet. Steve Hiltner is kind of the music director of the band, and he's an alto saxophone player and a clarinetist. So that's kind of the horn section: trumpet, saxophone. Then we have the stringed instruments. So Keaton Royer is normally our pianist, but this weekend we have a very special guest appearing with the band, Murray Lowe, who you know from.
Yay!
So he's sitting in for Keaton. And Sam Clark is a spectacular guitar player from Ann Arbor who is doing that work. And Jeff Dalton is an amazing bass player who's just in the process this weekend of moving from Michigan to Florida. He's fallen in love with the Keys. He and his wife have a house down there. And he is doing, something like 12 gigs a week down there. So we're lucky to get on his schedule. That's the string section. Then we have 3 people in the drums percussion section. In addition to me, Aaron Kaufman is the conga player who is just amazingly magical. And Olman Piedra is the percussionist, plays timbales and hand percussion. Olman is a professor of percussion at the University of Toledo and is gigging like crazy. And so you put those 9 people together, 3 horns, 3 strings, 3 percussion, and it's a great mix of Latin jazz.
Now, is that the band that played this weekend in Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh, and I missed it.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. And are people moving?
Yeah.
They're dancing, they're moving?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty varied repertoire. So the Latin jazz definitely sounds different from what people are used to as kind of mainstream Latin jazz, because the composers in the band have a pretty unique style. And but that stuff gets people moving. And at the gig on Sunday, there was somebody who danced throughout the entire show. No matter what we were playing, she was moving and entertaining everybody. And then others joined her at various times. But some of the stuff is swinging, some of the stuff is funky. It's it's a concert.
How cool! So that's who you'll be playing with on
Sunday.
Sunday, and Charged Particles is on Saturday. Hello. Oh, pardon me for 1 second, John. Okay?
Go right ahead.
You can dance with me if you want. 1,000 people here right now. It's pretty exciting. Show your love, everybody. Like, love, wow, care. Share the show. Oh, now there's just 10. We'll go we'll sing it out. Jenna, it's 11:11. Go, Julie. Go, William. William's dancing. Julie's dancing. Claudia. So let's see here. You're rehearsing?
We're learning new tunes this week.
Learning new tunes. Hi, Patty. Thank you so much for sharing the show. You're learning new tunes for both bands?
This is the Michigan group, just the Lunar Octet, getting together every night this week to learn some new stuff. I'm in California. They're mostly in Michigan. Steve lives in New Jersey. So it's a precious treat for us to be in the same place for a week. And we're making the most of it.
That's amazing. That's how when Rolf and I are in the same. Rolf, the guitar player that I work with, is in New Jersey. Actually, he's up north in Kerhonkson at this very second. He's in Kerhonkson, and we've been texting back and forth. But when we get in the same space, just like wow, cool. And we've played quite a bit up in Lake County because that's where I am up in Lakeport. But yeah, I get that. I know that how precious those moments are.
Can I ask you a question about your work with him?
Yes.
Can you tell us what it was like to be at Lincoln Center, Jazz at Lincoln
What?
Center?
I don't even. Performing at Lincoln Center was, well, first of all, just walking in there. Have you been in there?
Yeah, many
times.
Have you
played there?
Not yet. Tried to get in. So far, no luck.
The hang is so powerful because I've done a lot of conferences there, and then I've been there quite a few times. Thank you, Jason O'Lane, as a patron, and it was magical. I stayed at a hotel 6 blocks away. I walked along the park, and I kept going to myself, I'm walking to my gig at Jazz at Lincoln Center. And Rolf and I were playing together 25 years ago and playing at places like the Wetlands and you know, whatever, bars and crazy clubs and stuff back in the day. And here we are at Jazz at Lincoln Center with John Isley, who we were in a band with, and drummer Mike Clark, who I talked to today for quite a while. And I just found something out about Mike today that I did not know. His partner June. Did anybody ever watch F Troop? Do you remember F Troop? Do you remember who Larry Storch is?
Yeah.
Larry is his partner's stepfather. And Mike just sent me video. I'm like, I'm on Larry Storch's Facebook page, his fan page. He's like, yeah, I just hung out with him, before he died this last week. I hang out with him. He sent me videos of Larry Storch. So any of you F Troop fans, Mike Clark, who was playing the drums, and June was sitting right to my left. It's such an intense question because, you work so hard to get butts and seats, and we sold it out. We sold out Jazz at Lincoln Center, and then the second set it was almost sold out.
Yeah.
And we got to play such high level music with incredible musicians, with people that were there, and I didn't even know. A lot of my friends said, "Oh, you were great last night." I go, "Why didn't you come up and say hi?" They said, "Because you were mobbed by all these people." I go, "But I would have loved to have seen." And I saw them in the video. Later, I'm like, "Oh my God, and I didn't even get to see them." And hopefully it'll happen again.
Yeah. Oh, of course it'll happen. You nearly sold the 2 shows. Of course it'll happen
on a Tuesday night.
Fabulous.
And it was Rolf's birthday. And his partner Lise came out on stage and presented a cake, and yeah, Suzanne, I was totally high. I was on a whole other level of fear and magic and beyond grateful because I thought, if 40 people show up, and you know what it is, you work so hard for basically 3 hours of your life to go be there.
Yeah.
And
Nice to
then
read.
and then it's over, and then you're trying to find some, do I go home and you get a standing ovation, and because I was staying in a hotel, it wasn't like I was going to go home and clean my toilet,
Right.
which I normally do if I'm playing at Yoshi's and I get a standing ovation. Then I go, well, I guess I'll go home and organize my closet. But the intense thing about that particular night, and I think I've talked about it on the show just a little bit, was um and I'm just so upset by this whole conversation, but I'm just going to go there. I had no idea what had been happening that evening in our world.
Hmm.
And the second set, I just started choosing really intense song. Opening the second set, I said, I want to do this, this, this. And Rolf is like,
Hmm.
are you sure? And I go, yeah, I have this feeling that I need to put this, to heal and put this world, and whatever. It was just like Suzanne said, I was high. And at the end of the gig, someone said to me, you chose the perfect songs for this evening, and thank you with what's going on.
Hmm.
And it was the day of the shooting
Hmm.
in Uvalde. But I didn't, no one told me about it until I got home that night and read about it, and I was like, and I'm still so entrenched in that, and my heart is so in it, and now with what we're coming out with. But yeah, what we, not being arrogant, but what we do is really important, and what you do is really important and important. I'm saying it, Claudia. Important. It's a whole thing. These podcasters, they say important and perfect. But I don't know what else to do except do what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Arts are critical for us all to get through this experience that we're all dealing with. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you for.
So many experiences. There's so many, and you go, where do I? But that right now for me is right here, and I feel it. On, as a teacher, I was a teacher for many years. I'm sure even that night, you think about, you go to these places, perfect. You go to these places, and anything can. What? I'm going to a mall. I'm going to go eat in the food court, and somebody pulls out a gun.
Yeah. Luckily, not every day.
Not every day, but yeah, Jazz at Lincoln Center was beyond. And 2 weeks before that, we were at Jazz Fest in New Orleans,
Also fabulous.
and I probably will, and when I do these shows afterwards, sometimes I gotta go clean my toilet, because they really do. They make me high. I love doing what I do. I love doing this show. I love having a new person on with so many other conversations to have with you. And there he is, Rob Morocco. So right now we're coast to coast in Canada too.
Nice.
This is my friend John. This is the person that's helping me find my website, you guys. Hey, Bonnie Barker. That's a whole other conversation, right?
It is. It
Penny.
is.
Thank you so much.
Luckily, we found your website. This is a good thing.
Whoa.
I'm sure everybody who's with us tonight wishes that your website were thriving the way it used to, and it will be soon.
All brand new, though. It's got to be. So, working way too hard, but we'll get back to normal. Oh, good, Rob. Get back to normal and come hang out with us. So, So, what time are your shows on Saturday and Sunday?
I think mid-afternoon, both of them. So we're kind of the openers for the really huge names who are following us.
Who are you opening for?
Well, let's see. I got to remind myself, actually. Robert Glasper is one of them. Let's see if I can find this quickly for you. Who's the lineup? I could share this list maybe.
Like and love, you guys. Press
Dee Dee
play.
Bridgewater's there. Kirk Whalum is there.
Dee Dee and I love the same kinds of glasses.
Lila Hathaway is there. Boney James is there. So it's kind of a mix of various different kinds of jazz.
Smooth, jazz, R&B. Boney James, what an amazing musician. And so you're opening, who are you opening for the first day and then the second day?
Well, it's just, on that main stage, it's just a string of artists. So let's see what the schedule is here. So the schedule.
He's big time, you guys. Big time.
On Saturday, we are followed by the Spanish Harlem Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
And then Boney James. He's the big guy on that stage that night. And then on Sunday, we're followed by Kirk Whalum and Dee Dee Bridgewater.
How cool.
So, yeah.
Is Dee Dee playing with Kirk? Or is she doing her own?
She's actually appearing with the Columbus Jazz Orchestra. Columbus has a big band that has, it's really quite an impressive, decades-old institution where the trumpet player Byron Stripling is the music director and has been for a while. And so the musicians are there. There's a lot of talent in Columbus to put a big band together, and they have a subscription series. It's just like a symphony orchestra. They've got a big theater they play in, and audience fills the seats every time. It's really admirable. And we don't have anything like that in San Francisco, where there's a kind of repertory big band that's got a subscription series, that sort of thing. So I think it's impressive that Columbus has had it for so long.
That's really impressive. And people ask me sometimes, where do you love to play? I mean, let's play jazz at Lincoln Center, but I love playing at Nighttown in Cleveland, and I like to play in Toledo. There used to be a restaurant we played in Toledo called Diva. I loved, and they had their restaurant, and then they had a stage in another room where we used to perform in it. And you'd think, Toledo, Ohio, yeah, happening. Yeah. So does Charged Particles have a website?
Charged Particles does have a website. Can I show it to you?
Yes, you can post. This is your show. You can do anything with this show that you want. You can post it. You can, because people that are watching it right now are interested in what. Yes.
So let me in.
Oh, you want to do it that way? Okay.
Can you do?
Yeah. You entered the waiting room, so you're coming back on. As I was going to say, you can also put it on my Facebook page, on the Facebook link of this show.
Okay. Well, I think I can.
Yes. You can support my show with, thanks, Claudia, Zelle, PayPal, Patreon. What's the other one? PayPal, Patreon, Zelle, Venmo. Okay.
So you would have to let me share if I'm going to share, but if that's hard, we won't do it.
How do I do that? Make you a co-host?
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Do that.
Perfect. Making you a co-host.
There we go. Wonderful. So this is Charged Particles. Let's see, it's coming. There we go. So that's Murray Lowe. That's Aaron Germain.
Okay.
And that's our website. And
Aaron Germain is the bass player that you guys have seen with Jenna and the Charmers a few times. How lovely is that? So then it's the three of you, and then
when we go down here, you will see.
This is your website. How cool.
So this is our new CD, and it features a truly amazing talent walking this planet with us. Todd Dickow is really a stunning tenor player and a student of the jazz superstar Michael Brecker. And when we approached Todd and we said, hey, would you like to do a Mike Brecker project with us? He just was such the perfect person. First of all, he's incredibly delightful as a human being. Second of all, he's incredibly talented as a player, but he's also just a dream to work with, transcribed lots of music that's not available anywhere else, rehearsed us through all of that. And if you look on the webpage, you will see that we were favorite jazz release in 2021 of Jazz Times Magazine and Jazz Journalists and Jazzwise and various other places. And
congratulations.
So yeah, it was really something. So we've just been really enjoying it. And I'll show you, let's see if I can show you a picture here. So that's the quartet.
Oh, I love Venmo, Claudia. Beautiful.
And yeah, so there's just a ton of stuff on this
Is this an
chargedparticles.com.
article from Jazz Times or something?
Oh, that's down here someplace. Let's
Oh,
see.
yeah, it's just, a little piddly little article
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, we were very, very, that Jazz Is wrote about us. That's Todd.
It's times I meant jazzes.
And then,
The Baked Potatoes, a very cool club.
yeah, it was, the record was made live there. That's the Jazz Times article. So that, yeah, the record was recorded live. We actually, it almost didn't happen. We hadn't really planned to do this music because, the one way to think about what we're doing is that we're sort of following in Lincoln Center's footsteps, in the sense that when Wynton Marsalis created the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra, it was originally really a repertory orchestra to celebrate Duke Ellington. And so, just like symphony players, they wore tuxedos and they went on stage and in a formal way and played Ellington music, which is very orchestral in many ways. And they've branched out a lot since then, but it was an important way of bringing back alive that repertoire. And we're doing the same thing with Mike Brecker's compositions. And when people said, are you going to record this? We thought, why would we do that? Because Mike Brecker has already recorded it better than we could ever do. Mm-hmm. We had this gig at the Baked Potato, which is this famed decades-old jazz club in LA. And they offer artists the opportunity to get a multi-track recording when they go in. And so we said, sure, yeah, why not? Just do that for us. So we get to the club that night and we say to the engineer, so we made reservations for the recording. And they said, no, you didn't. And we said, no, pretty sure we did. And well, the engineer who would do that's not here, but I'll do my best to try to hack something together for you. And so he's running the house sound as well as doing this, 24 track recording. And we didn't have our hopes up, but we got the tapes and we thought, well, actually, maybe this is okay. And started to share it with some people. And they said, no, this is good. And the most important moment was when I shared it with Peter Erskine, who is a good friend for many years, famous jazz drummer, who said, you should put this record out. And then the president of Summit Records said, we would like to put this record out. And we said, okay, fine, we'll put it out. But we still thought, review-wise, there is no hope here. We're setting ourselves up for critics to say we're derivative and following in big footsteps in an insufficient way. And so just truly amazing to us, the love that this CD got from so many folks. The latest of these I'll just mention is a spectacular jazz trumpet player named Ingrid Jensen, who people may have heard about. She's at the Manhattan School of Music now as an associate dean, but she's also playing with Artemis, a really spectacular group of all women jazz players who are touring everywhere, playing all the big theaters and festivals. And she wrote an incredibly nice note that's, praising the recording, inviting us to come to do something at the school.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, it's really, I can't believe it's happening. It's such a treat.
And was it a conversation you had, like, let's do this music? Was it?
We're just looking for something else to do. We've had a series of guests work with us over the years. Paul McCandless is the person who we started before that, and we continue to work with Paul. Before that, we worked with Nguyen Le, the French-Vietnamese guitarist. And each of those has been a real treat. And this Todd Dickow thing of playing the record music has really taken off. I mean, we're doing Birdland in New York in September. We're doing Blues Alley in Washington. We'll do Yoshi's in a few months. In the last few months, we've done a tour of England. We've played in North Carolina, New Hampshire, Virginia, Texas, Oklahoma, Utah. We have Minnesota coming up. It's just I honestly, I can't believe it.
And you did all the booking.
That is true. Yes, that is true.
While professing your booking.
Yeah, I have help from a wonderful woman, Charlene Dubin, who's helping. And together we make it happen.
Wow. Congratulations. So it's chargedparticles.com.
It is.
And Paul also put that on. And then your other band does it have a website?
Yeah, it's called lunaroctet.com. NAROCTET.com. And you can hear both of our CDs for free on YouTube or anywhere else. So those are worth listening to. I mean, both bands have a series of other CDs, but it's a great pleasure to get to tell your friends and fans about this music, and I hope people will check it out.
Oh, I hope so too. Well, I just need to give you another standing ovation. I couldn't do it a second ago because I didn't know how to move it over, but really, really, I enjoyed talking with you, and I've been so grateful for your help with my website. And my question to you is, will you please come back sometime?
I would love it. It's a great pleasure. You're such a spectacular singer. We're all lucky to have your voice in our world. And this 11:11 thing is such a treat too. I'm always pleased when I stumble into it. And so thank you for doing it. Thanks
Thank
for
you. Well, share the show with your friends. Let them know. I will tag you in this, and it's here. Hold the phone. PayPal can't get any easier than that. No, you can PayPal. What is it? It's easy. It's right here. It's a generous gift is always appreciated. Venmo at Jenna-Mammina, PayPal.me/Jenna Sings, Patreon.com/Jenna Mammina, and I have Zelle. Can't be any harder than, I mean, easier, whatever. But yeah, really, 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 thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would like to sing a song for you. Do you have a letter?
How about Jay?
J, J, J. Oh, here we go. Hey, 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 hey. It's almost Wednesday. Yeah, yeah. I got a guy right here. He's a drummer. He was a percussionist, but now he's a professor too and a booking agent. My, oh my. I thank you, Jon, for being here tonight and soon always in the morning time. I hope that all of you had a real good time like I did. Oh yes. And say hello to Ann Arbor for me. Special times, a special heart. And I hope that all of you stay safe, stay healthy, and be real nice. And from the thoughts, make them Jon kind of thoughts, like those jazz kind of places that go where he's going. I wish you safe travels and standing ovations that you deserve. From your words, make them joyous words, and from your heart and my heart and all hearts, a jeweled kind of heart. Thank you, Jon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really wonderful. What a treat. Absolute, absolute treat. And check it out right now. There are 11 people here, and it's midnight. It's Wednesday, July 20th, 2022. Share the show, love the show, woo, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Mama Grace. We're going to go watch the last night of Ozark right now. That just happened, didn't it? It's true. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Thanks, Jon.
Good night.
Love hard. Real hard. Thank you, thank you. Good night. I loved it so